There's nothing on here.
This is it. This is it.
I was
telling
able
you.
to pinpoint where it was.
Definitely.
Good evening. The death of a body is not the end. The soul lives on. So followers of the Jewish faith believe. The Quran promises that the pious and the righteous will be in delight, and the wicked disbelievers will be in the blazing fire. And Christians have their own ideas of heaven and hell. But on one central point, all religions unite. Death is only the beginning of a new existence. Hard evidence for this belief is at best elusive. But in our program tonight, a retired bingo caller from Birmingham claims to provide that evidence.
You soldiers all that now are
This is it. This is it.
Peter, Bob and Carl are brothers from Birmingham, all on a mission.
Oh, this is definitely the church, without a shadow of a doubt.
Their quest to unearth details of Peter's claimed past life as John Raphael, a soldier in the English Civil War of the 17th century.
While I live not where I love.
About 20 years ago, I really became interested in hypnosis. My brother Peter's daughter-in-law agreed to come along for a session.
Well, she dropped out for whatever reason, and something was telling me to go for it.
Testing, testing.
And I was very hopeful that we may get something.
And just relax. Relax. You're now drifting back through your childhood, beyond to a previous life. Where are you?
I'm going to church.
What's it called? And what's happening around you?
St Michael's. I'm praying with my wife Elizabeth and little Izzy.
What year is it?
1638.
Peter, tell me what your name is and what work do you do?
John Raphael. I'm a foot soldier in Cromwell's army.
Fire!
Me, a parliamentarian foot soldier with the 1st Foot Regiment. And I thought to myself at the time, when people are going to hear this, they're going to think that I'm 2 bricks short of a full load.
Peter and Bob began their quest for the truth about Peter's past life in the tiny Nottinghamshire village of Halem.
There's the church. This is it. You've even got the name right. And these trees weren't there, I'll tell you that, 350 years ago. Oh, this is definitely the church, without a shadow of a doubt.
We went into the church. Luckily, it was open. And as soon as Peter entered, he said, "There's something wrong."
Oh, hang on a bit, hang on a bit, hang on a bit.
What's wrong?
You see where that altar is up
Yes,
there?
yeah, yes.
Well, I tell you, 350 years ago, the altar was this end.
This thing?
So,
Why would they
I mean,
change
you can see the pews have actually been changed completely
wouldn't.
around.
Baffled by the fundamental change, Peter and Bob sought out church warden Richard Brown.
That altar's been there since the church was built, what, 700 or over years ago. It's never moved. The altar has been there all the time.
However, working on a hunch, Richard uncovered old plans of Halem Church.
But in 1890s, the church was altered. So when John Raphael walked into the church, in his day, he would look to his right, and there would be the altar. So Peter would be correcting what he was saying.
Are you okay, Peter?
Encouraged by this success, the brothers scoured the graveyard.
We were looking for a name. We were looking for my name, John Raphael. I was drawn to one particular grave.
What's wrong with it then,
I'm not happy about this grave at all.
Happy about what?
I feel as though I'm going to throw up. Now, I've looked at a lot of the other graves, and I have no problem at all, but this one is bothering me.
We bent down and we scratched away the first piece of moss where we hoped the initial would be.
It's not going to be a J shape.
That is a J coming up. That's a J.
And then an O, H, N, and by this time I was getting very excited.
Go on, Rob. Try the next. Try the next. If the next one's an R, well, I don't... Jesus. And the first initial that came up on the surname was R. And I thought, oh dear, oh dear.
If I'm correct, if it is my grave, the next one will be an A, won't it?
It can't be right. It's too good.
I can do without an A.
It's coming.
I don't want to know this.
Oh dear. No, it's a no, it's a no.
I was quite relieved that it wasn't me.
You can't get much closer, can you?
You can't.
It seemed the trail had gone cold. Peter agreed to undergo further regression to see what details might emerge of his army exploits.
Beginning to see where you are.
I was asking general questions to Peter to gather information for our research. He suddenly became agitated and moving about on the seat he was on.
Tell me, what's going on?
The soldiers. Oh, the fighting.
I remember that myself and the rest of the pikemen, we were lined up in a straight line. And we had been tanked up, and things were a bit hazy with all the beer we'd poured down our throats. I remember that we had our pike staffs at the ready. We attacked Newbury on the 17th of September, 1643.
What else did you see, Pete?
All these soldiers are fighting.
He appeared to be in a somewhat desperate fight and struggle. He was throwing himself about and shouting.
Then everything went black.
The Battle of Newbury is recorded by historians, and at the time has been fought on the 27th of September.
But it was definitely the 17th of September.
So we've got a shortfall of some 10 days from what's claimed. One reason for that might be there was a change in calendar in 1752, when we actually went from the Julian Gregorian calendar, and we lost 10 days.
Another beautiful day for it, lads, as usual.
Spurred on by another hit, Peter and Bob were joined by younger brother Carl as they expanded their mission to include Scotland. Believing he'd been stationed in the border regions, Peter and the brothers were determined to track down his campsite.
Yeah, you see where that goes over there?
It just looks like fields over there.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yes. Just through the
Right now, when I was on guard on the mount,
close.
when I was walking along, then,
Yes.
then the tree that I remember seeing is in front of me. I tell you what, look at
the
this.
trees. Just look at
Oak
this.
trees. It's hardly
Cromwell's
changed.
oak trees.
Hardly changed in all those years.
Look at that. This has got to. There's nothing on here.
This is it. This is it.
I was
telling
able
you.
to pinpoint where it was.
Definitely.
Oak trees again.
This is
And as
it.
we got to the edge of the embankment, that's when the ravine appeared. And my initial reaction was, it hasn't changed at all in the last 350 years. I couldn't believe it.
There's this river.
You see,
It's just a stream.
the river used to be quite
Right
high.
down there.
You couldn't miss it.
I remember we would sit around the campfire, we'd play cards, sing songs. We'd also carve initials on trees.
When waking, can I take a moment?
However, despite Peter's enthusiastic claims, local historians believed no such campsite existed in the Haddon area.
To stand so stern?
Well, the brothers came to see me about 3 or 4 years ago and told us about this campsite, but our records had no information about campsites at all.
Come on then, guys. Let's go look. Have a look at this.
Undeterred, the brothers armed themselves with metal detectors to see what evidence they could unearth.
And on bringing us to this site, we've started to do some metal detecting. And these are some of the articles, or the artefacts that are coming out of the ground. We appear to have 2 musket balls, possibly from the Civil War period. A love token, which is used to be a coin, but had an initial stamped in it. Left hand, I've got part of a broken spur.
Well, they were all scattered around.
All down here.
Most of the foot soldiers were along here.
So could these artifacts mean that the brothers had discovered a previously unknown Civil War campsite?
We're actually left with some quite convincing information, I think. Musket balls, a spur here, some of the buckles and things, do certainly argue that we're looking at a campsite where people could have camped overnight during this Civil War period.
The next discovery was when Peter's story was featured on television.
I was watching the time and place on television, and the camera went to a man that I recognised as my father in a previous life.
Peter.
We were in the hospitality suite, and after a few minutes, the producer said to me, "Pete, there's a phone call for you, if you can take it in that booth next door." He said, "It's from your daughter." Now, at that particular time, I thought that he meant my real-life daughter, Karen, who lives in near Loughborough. Well, I picked the phone up.
And I said, "I'm really not a loony, and I'm phoning from London, and I was your daughter in a previous life."
Now, my first reaction was, this woman is stark raving mad. I said to Barbara, "Do you remember on either your 5th or your 6th birthday on the farm?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Can you remember what I made you?" She said,
For my 6th birthday, he made a horse out of wood.
I said, "That's correct." I said, "What else?"
And put green and yellow ribbons around it.
Happy birthday!
Could Barbara Hartfield really be the daughter of John Raphael? Peter is convinced.
She's mentioned a couple of things that she couldn't possibly have known about unless she was my daughter.
Back on the road, Peter and Bob head for London and the Clink prison in pursuit of their latest lead.
This could very well be the place.
Well, it's apparently on the side, the Blackfriars. You said Blackfriars.
When I was thrown down the steps, it was very similar to this, Rob.
And you said down, didn't you? This is down.
Ooh. Arrested after a pub brawl, Peter suspects he was jailed in the Blackfriars area. Rosemary Smith, lecturer at the Clink Museum, joined the brothers.
Some trouble started with some of the locals in there. I remember furniture being thrown around, and the next thing I remember is coming in a place very similar to this. This might be the right place. Being thrown down some stone steps, and one ripped into my thigh, and the pain was terrible.
If you were caught drunk and disorderly, which you were,
yes,
or if you were a debtor, this is the place that you would have been thrown in.
We're still searching for more evidence, and I know that the truth is out there. This is my quest to come to a conclusion. We've got to find John Raphael, and the evidence is out there somewhere, and we will find it. It may take years.
So, what's now, Pete? We've done the Clink,
yep,
Blackfriars,
yeah,
and you've had some strong feelings in there.
That's right.
And what do you reckon to? Where do we go next?
Our next venture should be back to Comstock in Devon.
Yes.
Because the last time we were there,
yes,
I remember seeing this lane.
Yes. Oh yes, I remember.
If Peter Hume really did have a past life, maybe he'll have another life after this one. He might even visit Birmingham one day on a quest to learn about the life of Peter Hume and end up watching a rerun of this programme. In part